Good morning, everybody. This is Mark, and welcome back to Mario Movie Updates. Now, I'm recording this on March 10th, which is Mario Day, and if you saw yesterday, Nintendo and Illumination released the third and final trailer for the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So, like with the other trailers, I'm going to be sitting here, watching this back, and pointing out any details, references, and Easter eggs that I noticed. But before I do, I want to mention that somebody in my Discord server posted about the Super Mario Bros. Plumbing website and how it recently received some minor updates. After I found out, I recorded a little video of myself going through it and reacting to the new stuff for the first time, so here it is. Well, there's a book now option, and it just takes us to get our tickets for the movie. Kind of breaks the illusion, but okay. Now we got some more testimonials. We got more customer reviews to look at, including this one from Drip Drop Be Gone, who gave them 5 stars, saying, "Never seen a plumber actually go inside a pipe while on the job, but I gotta say, I love the thoroughness." And this one, I love this username, Another Casserole, obviously a play on The Princesses in Another Castle. They gave them 4 stars and said, "Saw the plumber's flyer hanging up at Punch-Out Pizzeria. These guys turned out to be fantastic." Alright, so now we know that the Punch-Out Easter egg from the plumbing commercial relates to a pizzeria named after the Punch-Out video game. We have this review from a user named Princess of Queens, also gave them 4 stars. "Even my building's broken elevator couldn't stop these guys. The two just started jumping floor to floor to reach the top of our skyscraper to fix our sink." And then Man gave them 5 stars. Jumpman obviously referring to Mario's original name in the Donkey Kong arcade game. "The M and L on their hats should also stand for marvelous and legendary." And then we have one from Dunna, but they only gave them 1 star, saying, "These guys showed up to tackle an emergency job. They showed up in no time, but as soon as they went underground to investigate, we didn't hear from them again." So I guess that confirms that they go to the Mushroom Kingdom by finding a secret warp while they were working on the drain. And then this one from Pipe Dreams, who gave them 4 stars, said, "Amazing looking water, courtesy of the brothers." Oh, wait a minute. Oh, what's this? So apparently the Mario Brothers plumbing van is going on a national tour. It says, "We've received an overwhelming amount of texts, so we're taking this show on the road outside of Brooklyn. Come visit us in person." And they have dates. So the Mario Brothers plumbing van is going to be at these locations on these dates. Yeah, let's take a look at the live chat feature, see what that's about. "Mamma mia, thanks for choosing Super Mario Brothers Plumbing. How can I help you? Why choose SMB Plumbing? Why choose us? We know what it feels like to be a little guy in a big world, so we'll make you feel like the ruler of your kingdom. How did you two become business partners? Well, we're not just bros, we're brothers, so we've known each other forever and have been inseparable ever since. Is there anything else I can help you with today? Services. Don't let a small leak turn into a big boss of a problem. If you got a pipe with a problem, chances are we can fix it. What if it's not a leak, but a clogged pipe? We've seen it all. Plants, reptile pets, even loose change. Clogs can happen with anything, so don't you worry. We have a 100% completion rate. Reptilian pets. I'm guessing that's a reference to Yoshi. How about some frequently asked questions? Are you really brothers? Yes. Do you always work together? Always. What areas do you service? Find us around either Brooklyn or Queens, but most likely the Punch-Out Pizzeria. Now, this time Punch-Out is spelled with 2 exclamation points, like in the video game. Oh, what's your order at Punch-Out Pizzeria? A large half red pepper and half green pepper pizza. You can guess who likes which. Ask them to make your order super and tell them we sent you. Are there any plans to expand? Nope, we love being in Brooklyn and have no plans of leaving. That being said though, we'll visit anywhere that has good slice of pizza. That sounds about right. Contact us. Ready to book your next service? Yes. Great, find a date and time here. And it takes you to the ticket website. Okay, well no, it doesn't do anything. I need more information. What do you need? References, pricing, more about your background? Well, let's start with references. Check out the testimonials on our site. Yeah, we got that. Let's get a sense of their pricing. Our estimates are commitment free. How about more about your background? We specialize in our patented double dash drainage. Nice little Mario Kart reference there. And there's a gif of them unclogging the sink. Let's see, I'm here for something else. What brings you to a plumbing site? I was looking for something else. Did you find it? Yes? Yippee! Yippee! Glad to hear our service area map was able to guide you. Let's see, I was looking for something else. Did you find it? No. Oh no. We hope you find a way out. Up or down? Up. Go up or down. Oh wait, is this gonna be like the Konami code? Up, up, beep, boop, ending chatbot experience. Still, oh, I thought we were gonna do like the Konami code thing. Well, let's try down then. Let's go down. Oh, that didn't do anything. Oh, maybe there's a specific order that I have to do it in. Let's see. Up, down, down. Oh, okay, so I guess if I get the right one, it gives me another GIF. Service area. Oh, what's that? So they even have a parody of the CAPTCHA system. I see like a sunshine sign here with dolphins on it. Gotta be a Mario Sunshine reference. So you have to click on the boxes where there's a car. And I got the item roulette sound from the Mario Kart games, and this is where they're serving. While we'd love to be able to warp anywhere, our plumbing kingdom only covers Brooklyn and Queens. Need an appointment? Click here. So you click Brooklyn, and it plays audio from the Donkey Kong arcade game. And when you click Queens, it plays audio from Kid Icarus. Okay, that's really, really cool. I wonder what happens when we click on this button. Oh! Super Mario Bros. Plumbing has its own Instagram too! No way! Well, definitely following now. And I think that's pretty much everything that's new with the site. I really hope they continue updating this over time because this is a lot of fun to explore. This is a lot of fun to mess around in and... Alright, now let's get to the new trailer. This one is the shortest of all the trailers. This is only like a minute and a half. But there are still some pretty significant things about it, including new characters and things of that sort. So, let's just jump right in. Now it opens with what I think might be the best look at Bowser's castle so far. Now, of course, Bowser's Lair has always had some kind of fiery volcano theme, no matter which Mario game you play. So having his castle actually be built into a volcano, I always thought that was really clever, and man, this thing looks insane. I absolutely love this design. But inside the castle, we see Luigi is locked in a cage as it's lowered into this pit with other creatures that are also in cages. In this overhead shot, we can see that the cages are dangling over this huge pit of lava. Now, I doubt this was an intentional reference, but watching this scene, I couldn't help but get flashbacks to the climax of The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach, where Luigi causes water to flood the castle and it comes pouring into this giant room that also has a lava pit and turns it into a hot spring. Now, during the sequence, we can also hear the underground theme from Super Mario Bros. And looking at the other cages, we can see there's a Dry Bones over to the left, judging from its legs and the gray boots. And some of the cages also have Goombas in them, which is interesting because Goombas and Dry Bones are members of Bowser's army. So my guess is these are actually former minions of Bowser who were locked up here as like a form of punishment for defecting from the army. But in the other cages, we can see the penguins from the Ice Kingdom, including the Penguin King. At first, I thought the cages were modeled after the ones in games like New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Super Mario 3D Land. But looking at them side by side, these cages actually have closed tops, and the bottoms are rounded and bulge out instead of being flat. Now, going back to that overhead shot, I noticed there's this floating object that doesn't seem to be a cage since it's not hanging from a chain. I'm thinking maybe this could be the Koopa Clown car, which we know is going to make some kind of appearance in this movie since there was a recent promo that came out showing a Koopa Troopa piloting it. And I doubt they would go to the trouble of modeling the Koopa Clown car for like a 15-second commercial. So this thing has to show up in the movie somewhere. Now, of course, another one of the characters locked up in one of these cages is Lumalee. This is a character that appears in the Galaxy games. It's the giant Luma that sometimes gives you 1-up mushrooms or life-up mushrooms. And this is the first time we're actually seeing footage of this character in the movie since their inclusion was first officially confirmed when they were released as a figure in the McDonald's Happy Meal toy line. Lumalee's characterization is very interesting because they have this sort of demeanor akin to somebody who's been in jail for a long time and has seen a lot of things. They have this very dark and surprisingly depressing outlook for this movie, but you can tell it's a child voicing them. So hearing Lumalee say things like, "Your only hope of escaping is the sweet relief of death," that is just hilarious to me. But Now that we know that Lumily is actually going to appear in this movie, at this point, it feels inevitable that Rosalina is going to show up or make some kind of appearance. We knew there was going to be some kind of connection to the Galaxy games when Peach specifically said galaxies in the second trailer. Now, I'm not sure if Rosalina's presence in this movie is going to be major. I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up in like a post-credit scene or a mid-credit scene. But now that we know for sure that Rosalina does at least exist in this universe, perhaps the stakes are a lot higher than we realize. Maybe Bowser isn't just seeking to conquer the world. We can already tell from a later scene that he wants to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom, but if Rosalina and the Lumas exist in this universe, his conquest might expand beyond just this galaxy. He might be out to conquer the entire universe. How exactly Lumily is going to play into the story, I don't know just yet. This trailer doesn't really give us that much more story details, but I imagine Lumily's role is going to be pretty significant. The Penguin King indicates that he's a bit crazy, so maybe he's been sent down to the Mushroom Kingdom to deliver a message saying that the galaxy or the universe is in danger, and somebody needs to come in and do something about it. Now after that we go back to the party sequence in Bowser's castle, and we see him refer to Koopas and Goombas by name, but he doesn't refer to the Spinies by name, he just says whatever those things are, which makes them sad, and I feel bad for them. I feel like Bowser's kind of showing a bit of favoritism here. I also love in this shot of the Koopa Troopas, we can see one being eaten by a piranha plant in the background. And then in this shot of the Goombas, we can see one nibbling on another Goomba's head, and these two other Goombas head bonk each other. And then we get this shot of the interior of Peach's castle, where we can see this circular door opening in the floor. It's in the same spot that the map of the Mushroom Kingdom was on in the second trailer, so I'm guessing this is when the map actually rises up from the floor. There are also these clouds on the stained glass windows. The interior of Peach's castle has always had this kind of blue, cloudy sky motif, but the clouds here are much more simplistic. They almost kind of resemble the clouds in the original Super Mario Bros. Even. And then there are these pictures on the wall, and though it's kind of hard to make out, this one on the far right heavily resembles Sunshine Isles from Super Mario 64 DS. And going by that connection, this snowy one on the left could be either Snowman's Land or Cool Cool Mountain. And then we see Peach walking into the room wearing her Mario Kart Wii outfit again. We see Kamek actually immobilizing Luigi with his magic as a Sniff It and two Shy Guys watch. And then in the Field of Fire Flowers, Mario says, "I'll do anything for my brother," which makes me very happy because that tells me that they are completely ignoring the bad brother narrative that people seem to associate with Mario and Luigi, and I was never really a fan of that narrative. And it kind of helps warm me up to the notion of Luigi being the damsel in distress as opposed to Princess Peach, because with Mario having to rescue Luigi, it makes the stakes more personal for him. And then we get this epic shot of some Koopa paratroopas spreading their wings as presumably Bowser makes his entrance. And then we get to the second half of the trailer, which is definitely much more action-packed. The second half opens with this big fight sequence in Toad Town with Mario and Donkey Kong seemingly teaming up to take out Bowser's minions. Now there's this interesting thing going on with the Kongs that I'm going to talk about later, but for now we can see Mario holding a super mushroom, and he kicks this question block, and as it's flying through the air, Donkey Kong hits it. It plays the power-up appearing sound effect from Super Mario Bros. And then in what I think might be a first for this franchise, not counting the Mario Kart games, we see Donkey Kong grabbing a fire flower. And we see his tie turns white, and his fur and the letters on his tie turn red. And he also gets these white tips in his fur, at his wrists, his ankles, and on the top of his head, giving it this sort of fiery look, which is appropriate since he just grabbed a fire flower. Now behind Mario and Donkey Kong is an unconscious piranha plant. Now obviously at this point in the movie, Bowser's invaded the Mushroom Kingdom, because we can also see his fortress chained down to the left here. We can even see one of those spiked anchors in the background in the next shot. But going back to the piranha plant, I'm guessing at this point, Mario gets attacked by it, but then Donkey Kong comes in and knocks out the piranha plant and saves Mario. And then they team up to take out the rest of Bowser's minions, which continues all throughout the scene. Then Mario eats the super mushroom, making this the second time we've seen Mario use it in animation, the first being in the Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach. But here we can see him turn into Super Mario, and he goes, "Waha!" sounding more and more like the Mario we know and love. And then he sprints ahead, running with his arms spread out behind him, which he also does in games like 3D Land, 3D World, and Odyssey. And just before it cuts to the next shot, we can see he and Donkey Kong are running toward what looks like a Sledge Brother and a Buzzy Beetle. Then we get this side view tracking shot of Mario and Donkey Kong taking out Bowser's minions. Mario jumps under a brick block, smashes it, knocks out this Hammer Brother. He stomps on a Goomba, squashing it like in the games. And then Donkey Kong shoots a fireball at this Fire Brother, jumps off a Koopa Troopa, making it retract into its shell. And he also does this flip in midair, similar to his Donkey Kong Country and Smash Brothers appearances. And then he jumps into the Sledge Brother, also making it retract in its shell, something Sledge Brothers don't actually do in the games. And then he slams his fist down into a Goomba, performing a move similar to his down smash from the Smash Brothers games. And then in the next shot, we can see Donkey Kong running past some barrels, and then Mario does a midair front flip and performs a ground pound, the shockwave knocking these Koopas back. That's not actually how the ground pound works in the games, but in the new Super Mario Bros. Games, you can do this by having all active players ground pound at the same time. So maybe this is a slight reference to that. In the next scene, we're in this massive hangar filled with Kong carts and garage spaces. It looks like this is where the Kongs keep their carts just before a race. In fact, over the entrance, we can even see the sign with two Kongs holding racing flags. And I noted in past breakdowns that the carts in this movie seem to take a lot of inspiration from the Mario Kart games, and the directors Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelinek seem to further confirm this, because they said that the carts that we see are, for the most part, completely original designs. They also hired artists who specialize in vehicle design to help make the carts feel more believable and organic. The influence from the games is obvious in a lot of places, like Mario's cart looks a lot like the standard cart from Mario Kart Wii. Even later, we see more influence, like this Koopa's cart here is themed to a bonsai bill and might be an homage to the Bullet Blaster vehicle from Mario Kart Double Dash. But I do enjoy seeing all these new kart designs because not only are they unique, but they clearly are taking inspiration from the games, which, you know, is nice. But back to the hangar for a second, I just want to point out that in the background here, we can see what looks like a burning oil drum, which is an obstacle present in both the original Donkey Kong arcade game and the Donkey Kong Country series. And then we see Mario, Peach, and Toad approaching this structure with mechanical parts coming out of it, and the next shot shows an engine being installed into a kart frame, indicating that this is where new drivers can create their own karts, kind of like in Wreck-It Ralph. And I didn't realize this at first, but the slots on the bottom here also resemble the kart customization menu from Mario Kart 8. So you can pick your kart frame, your tires, and also your glider, which we've seen Cranky Kong use in one of the NBA commercials. And then we hear Peach say, "Here we go," and drive off, with Mario following shortly after. Probably just a reminder, hey, that's my line. And just in case the Mario Kart Rainbow Road sequence didn't already look epic enough, we then see some Koopas in their own karts waiting on the side of a mountain. All their headlights go on, and then they make their way onto the Rainbow Road, firing at the Kongs, presumably to clear a path to get to Mario. Going back to taking inspiration from the games, many of these Koopas are in karts that resemble the off-roader from the Mario Kart games, but in general, these karts have much more of a Mad Max kind of flair to them, and just makes this sequence even more exciting. That Koopa in the eye patch that we saw since as early as the first trailer is driving a kart with this giant cannon that fires green shells at the Kongs, knocking them out. We even see a kart get blown up, and it also makes the death sound from Super Mario Bros. But I don't think this is one of the Kong's karts because it has some spikes on it, meaning it's probably one of the Koopas that gets blown up. And then we get this really epic shot of Bowser just engulfed in fire and saying, "Let's end this," which definitely must come from the final battle. And then we cut back to the Rainbow Road sequence. We see Mario driving his kart using Mario Kart 8 style anti-gravity, the same way we saw Peach use it in one of the NBA spots. He's being chased by the Koopa in the blue shell armor, driving this beast of a kart with cannons firing bullet bills at him. And then Mario jumps out of his kart just before it gets blown up, which for some reason makes the brick smashing sound from Super Mario Bros. But either way, he falls to the road below him, grabs onto the back of another Koopa's kart, which may be a subtle reference to Mario Kart Double Dash since it has the 2-character per kart mechanic. And then once he does, we can hear a Toad cheering in the background. This Koopa is also using anti-gravity, but I want to point out that while the lights in the tires on Mario and Peach's karts were blue, the tire lights in this Koopa's kart are red, which is something completely unique to this movie, because in Mario Kart 8, no matter which character you play as, every single kart's tires light up blue when they switch to anti-gravity. And then Mario covers this Koopa's eyes, making him drive into another Koopa's kart, and then he jumps on the other Koopa, making it hide in its shell like it does in the games. Then when Mario hijacks the kart, he grabs the shell and just barely avoids these bullet bills being fired at him by another Koopa driving behind him. And then Mario throws the shell at the Koopa. We hear that same sound that green shells make in the Mario Kart games when they get thrown. It hits the Koopa, seemingly knocking him off the side of the road, and his kart gets blown up. I was not expecting this movie to rival the live-action one when it comes to explosions, but man, this sequence looks intense. And of course, just like the last video, as I'm working on this one, even more new footage comes out, so I've got to talk about it. They don't show anything we haven't seen already, it's just longer, mostly extended looks of scenes and clips that we've already gotten in the other trailers, but there's still some pretty cool stuff that we need to look at. So let's start with this clip from the movie, which was made available to people who entered the special Super Mario Bros. Movie themed giveaway. And this clip is from the scene where Mario meets Toad for the first time. At the start, we hear some notes from the Super Mario Bros. Theme, which I'm guessing is going to be treated as the overall Mushroom Kingdom theme, or at least a theme associated with Mario's presence in the Mushroom Kingdom. I gotta say, Chris Pratt's performance in this clip is really solid. Like, he conveys genuine fear and confusion when he meets Toad, and it sounds believable and completely natural. He sounds really good here. But speaking of Toad, when he introduces himself, we hear the Toad Brigade / Captain Toad theme from Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario 3D World, and Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. And I found this very interesting because considering that Toad wears a very similar looking backpack to Captain Toad, and taking his character arc into account from what Keegan-Michael Key described in a recent interview with Fandango, I think this could be foreshadowing Toad becoming Captain Toad. Toad's character arc is going to revolve around him wanting to make a difference in the Mushroom Kingdom and show Princess Peach how much he wants to help protect her and the kingdom. And by the end, when Bowser's defeated, I think he's going to be rewarded for his efforts by Princess Peach by becoming the captain of the Toad Brigade. Obviously, it'd be a huge departure from the game, since it's pretty well established at this point that Toad and Captain Toad are completely separate characters, but for this movie, I think that would make for a pretty satisfying character arc. Moving on to the rest of the footage, one thing I noticed in most of the clips actually has nothing to do with the movie. It has to do with the Nintendo and Illumination logos, because in every single trailer and commercial and poster that we've seen, the Nintendo and Illumination logos have been grouped together with this little plus sign. But I love how in all these new clips, the plus sign is replaced with an NES D-pad. That's really cool. First, we have this Instagram story reel where we see more clips of Mario in the training course, including this shot of him trying to smash a brick block, but instead he hits his face against the bottom of it. And then we see him trying to jump onto a lift before it moves out of the way and makes him fall, showing us just how inexperienced this Mario is by the time he first enters the Mushroom Kingdom, but obviously by the end he's going to become the Super Mario that we all know and love. And then we get this new shot of Mario fixing his hat as he's walking through the Mushroom Forest. He says, "That's a cruel twist of fate." And then there's a new shot of Mario and Peach in her castle, and Mario says, "You're going to help me find my brother Luigi." And then we get some more footage of the Mario Kart sequence, and at the start of the race, Peach says, "To the biggest fight of our lives." And then we see Toad wearing sunglasses while in his cart. And then there's this shot of Mario and Donkey Kong side-eyeing each other as the race begins. And then in a new commercial, we see Peach burst through the doors of the castle foyer, and I'm guessing this is where she lays out her battle plan for when Bowser and his army invade, which we get a little bit more of in the next shot. We get a close-up of her feet as she and Toad make their way onto the balcony, and then we see that when they look up at the Bowser head on the front of his fortress, this is when he and his army invade the Mushroom Kingdom, which could also lead to the fight in Toad Town that we saw in the final trailer. And judging from the way this commercial's edited, I'm guessing this shot of Bowser walking out of the fortress with all the fire around him engulfed in the shadows, I'm thinking this actually isn't from the Ice Kingdom sequence. This might be him confronting Peach on the balcony of her castle. So that'll be very interesting to see if that's the case. And then we see Peach going through the training course, I'm guessing to show Mario how to get through it himself. Her running and jumping animations here are taken from Super Smash Bros., although this mid-air kick that she performs when she kicks through this Bowser cutout, I think it's mostly original. And then there's a new shot of Mario and Fire Peach in the Fire Flower field looking around. I'm guessing maybe they see some shooting stars or just notice something else happening. Either way, it's still very pretty. And then there's this other new commercial that opens with Peach presumably talking to Mario, and she says, "Without your help, the Mushroom Kingdom will be annihilated," which further adds to my Mario and Luigi prophecy theory. Then there's this slow zoom in on Peach looking up at Bowser's fortress as it approaches. There's a new shot of some Koopa Troopas marching in this fiery location, presumably Bowser's castle, judging from the spikes down here and the fire and lava surrounding them. And then we get some new shots of Tanuki Mario, and I'm guessing this first shot is from when he gets the Tanuki suit for the first time. And if you look behind him, there's this cloud of smoke that disappears, which definitely seems like a reference to Super Mario Bros. 3, because if you remember, when you get a Super Leaf or Tanuki suit or any suit-related power-up, Mario transforms in a cloud of smoke. So I'm guessing the same thing happens here in the movie when Mario grabs the Tanuki suit. And then this next shot shows him flying through the mushroom forest with his arms out behind him, similar to Raccoon Mario's pose on the box art for Mario 3. And then we get some new shots of Peach and Toad, and he says, "I fear nothing," and Peach says, "You're coming with us," which could either be her inviting Toad to join her and Mario on their adventure, or maybe she's actually saying this to Mario, and this line was just edited over this scene to make it look like she's saying this to Toad. I'm assuming it's the latter because the words don't match her lip animation here. And then we get a shot of Mario in Toad Town during the big Bowser invasion. He's being attacked by a Piranha Plant, a Sledge Brother, a Goomba, a Spiny, and later we see a Hammer Brother and a Koopa Troopa. He performs what looks like the sideways somersault from the 3D games, and he stomps on the Piranha Plant, which I want to note is only possible in the 3D games starting from Galaxy onward. And then we get a shot of Toad spinning this Bitty Butt around and throwing it behind him. I'm guessing he must be really excited to join Mario and Peach on their quest. Speaking of which, we get another shot of them in the mushroom forest. Toad refers to Mario as his best friend, and Mario says, "But are we?" Which relates back to what Chris Pratt said about Mario and Toad's relationship during the Fandango interview. Then we get a shot of some Koopa Paratroopas flying out of Bowser's fortress and then lining up in front of the other Koopas during the Ice Kingdom invasion. Bowser screams, "Destroy the Mushroom Kingdom!" And in this shot of him, we can see the Power Star behind him. And then during the Toad Town fight, we hear Donkey Kong say, "It is on like Donkey Kong." And when I first saw this, I was like, hey, he said the thing. And then we get to the last new commercial we have to talk about for this video. It opens with Peach rallying her Toads together in a call to action. And a blue Toad asks, "Who's he?" before it cuts to Mario shrugging awkwardly, and then panning to Peach, looking at him and then at the Toads, not knowing how to respond. So I guess that means when the Toads first see Mario walking through the town in the Game Awards clip, it's not because they know he's some kind of legendary hero. It has to be because they've never seen another human in this world aside from Peach. And then we see Bowser looking through a pair of binoculars, which don't resemble the actual binoculars from the games though. Kind of surprising. But Bowser's clearly not very happy with what he's seeing, so either Mario managed to get past his forces, or Luigi managed to escape, which might lead to the chase that we saw glimpses of in the first teaser. Then we see Mario in the training course again, and we hear a classic Mario Yahoo! Which sounds eerily close to Charles Martinet, so either this is a clip taken directly from the games, or Chris Pratt must have really mastered that classic Mario voice by now. But we also hear Kamek say, "The princess has been training the mustachioed human." And in the next shot, we can see Kamek is talking to Bowser, who says, "I'm not threatened." But then in a later shot, we hear him scream Mario's name angrily over a clip of him from the first teaser when he says, "Open the gates." What's even more interesting though is that the shot of Bowser and Kamek shows the former sitting at a piano. People have been going crazy over this clip, because we've been hearing a lot about how Bowser is going to have like a musical side to him in this film, and when it comes to footage, trailers, commercials, and whatnot, this is our first true visual hint at that. But I'm curious as to if Bowser can actually play the piano, or if he just has it for show. But yeah, that's all the new footage I could find so far. Nintendo, Illumination, Universal, if you're watching this, I love that you're holding back on serious spoilers, but please could you slow down with the commercials a bit? It's really hard for me to keep up with everything that comes out about this movie, and it's going to be even more difficult now since it's less than a month away, but if you could give me a heads up next time so I can properly prepare. to talk about these things. I mentioned before that there might be an interesting dynamic between Mario and the Kongs in this movie, and I'm thinking there's going to be some tension between Mario and the Kongs, like maybe they don't trust him, or maybe they're afraid of Bowser coming in and conquering their kingdom, and they don't believe that Mario is capable of fighting him off, so they test him by having him fight Donkey Kong, who might be their greatest champion, since it's him specifically that they have him fight. And then maybe they challenge him further by having him enter a race, which is clearly a big thing in their culture, since they have an entire hangar dedicated to their carts. They drive them around the island everywhere. But then when the Koopas attack during the Rainbow Road sequence, they'll see just how well Mario is able to fight them off, and that ultimately will be what wins him their trust. And that will be what inspires Donkey Kong to help him fight off Bowser's minions in Toad Town later on. So slowly but surely, I'm kind of getting a sense of how all these elements are connecting. It is all just theories and speculation at this point, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is what everything was leading to. I've said in previous videos that one of my biggest concerns about this movie was that it was going to rely too much on fan service and references and Easter eggs, and not really have any sort of coherent story. And while I'm still kind of worried about that, this trailer did give me the sense that they were very mindful of what the movie's plot was going to be. And I do feel like they're trying to weave in all of these references and Easter eggs in a way that is organic and integral to the plot. What else I liked about this trailer is that it shows new footage, but it kind of conveys the same idea that the other trailers did. And in terms of story, it does a really good job at only telling us what we need to know, without straight up spoiling the experience for us. I thought this was a really fun trailer, and I'm still really excited to see this movie. I can't believe it's less than a month away now, and even though this was the shortest of the trailers, it still did a lot to generate even more hype and just make for a nice way to celebrate Mario Day weekend. But what did you guys think of this trailer? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were there any details you noticed that I didn't bring up? Let me know in the comments, and if you happen to come across any more Mario movie related news that maybe I didn't cover in this video, whether in that scrolling text bar at the bottom of the screen or just in this video, then you can post it in the Mario Movie channel in my Discord server, which you can find a link to in the description if you're not already a member. And since tickets are officially on sale, are you going to see this movie on opening day? Or are you going to wait a little bit? Lastly, if you're new to the channel and you want to see more Mario movie updates, first off, welcome. Second, be sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified of when these videos come out. Thank you everybody for watching. With that said, this is Mark, bidding you all a smashing farewell. Be good, behave, be safe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.